Hey, what's happening? Before we jump into the show, I wanted to see if you had any music on a hard drive. You have a band, you have a project, and you want to self-release your own music. Well, there's an easy way to do it. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and go get your music up on all the streamers. You keep 100% of your royalties, and you can get 30% off by using this code. It's a great, easy way to get your music up on the streamers and share it with your fans, your friends, your family, your mom, your dog, everybody. Everyone wants to hear it. But go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, HYPHENATE, and send me the link. I want to hear it too. Send your mom the link. Send your dog the link. They all want to hear it too. Welcome to Hyphenate Halftime. What's happening? This is our show for August 3rd. Welcome to August, the last halftime for season 3. Next week we'll begin season 4, and to bring in the new season with me, my one and only Forever Boo on the halftime show, Mr. Aaron Farley. How do you do today, Mr. Aaron Farley?
I start back to work tomorrow.
What's happening?
My summer break is finished.
Oh my
second
gosh.
Teacher's summer is done.
Oh my God.
But summer?
That was it. Wow. Is it the dream that everybody assumes it is? That everybody who's not a teacher and has summer, the what is it like to be a teacher on summer break? Maybe I will know this dream.
If I made the money,
I always hear from people who are not teachers, like, oh, that's
summer,
the teachers. They get summers off. I mean, come on, it's not even a job.
I basically spent my whole summer worrying about spending money because I had to save. I can't dip into the because you only get paid for 11 months, and then so you have to save enough money for the 12th month for when you don't get paid in August. And so I have this like, yeah, because your last check comes in July 1st, and then you don't get paid.
Even though you start back to work in August, but you're not getting paid.
September 1st for the next year. I guess the reason that they do that is because
that's nice.
I don't know. You just can't split your checks into. It has to do. It's got to do something with the hiring and letting people go, time frame, and you don't want to fire someone and then have to pay them in August. I don't know what it is, but whatever. So you have to save enough money, which seems easy until you're like
you carry the one,
your tire blows out, and you have to get some tires. So I just save a couple $100 less this month, but don't worry, I'll make it up next month. And then by the time you get to July, you're looking at that and going
until life happens.
Okay, so I can't do anything. But what happens if something happens? And so you just sit there going like, well, if I don't leave the house, the chance of my getting a tire blowout or something else happening, getting hurt,
nothing happens,
or anything else, it's much lower. So maybe I'll just stay home. Yeah, I don't know. No, it's great. I can't complain about having 2 months off, but I do have to say that I'm ready to go back. I don't know if maybe fun. I'm ready for the insanity of middle schoolers. I probably am. I don't know. I've been having dreams about like getting in arguments with kids I don't know, which is very funny. Being like, oh, you're one of them, are you?
Sure.
Like that was one of my dreams the other night. Oh, I see. I've met you before. Yeah, it's really funny.
It's your mind getting ready.
Yeah. Listen here, buddy.
I know you. It's the repeat. Oh my gosh. Last week we had on the one and only Mr. Martin Kendall Wong. Do you know Martin?
I don't know.
Have you met Martin?
I know of him. I loved Giant Robot. I've been to that gal.
Okay.
I mean, I just knew of them. Definitely.
Well, tell me about Giant Robot. When did you first see Giant Robot as a magazine?
Right, which was 2009 to. Oh wait, no. Let's see. when was the gallery?
Oh, right.
2008. No, 2009 to 2013. And they were doing those. They were, I believe, at that time they were doing the big group shows with the Post-it notes. Yeah.
Yep. And it was over like in that Sawtell
really
area,
but
right?
yeah,
like it was kind of West.
It was
LA
and
south of,
but also
south
the
of West
magazine
LA,
was great. I feel I felt
City.
all of your same sentiments. That when did he say that it first came out as an actual magazine? Remember the year? Was it that early? Okay, because I definitely didn't really.
Sometime in the 90s. Yeah, it would have been mid 90s, early 90s. Yeah,
until
somewhere in there.
I was in LA.
Maybe.
I feel like that's when it maybe in Portland. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess if I can't think of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So probably wasn't until I was in LA. So it would have been 6 years after.
Started in 94.
But then,
yeah,
I feel like you put it into perspective a lot with being like with all of the different Grand Royal stuff happening and Giant Robot and Extra Large and like all of that stuff had Asian influence. I feel like there was a lot of Asian influence coming all coming into popular culture and music and art, but yeah, mostly art. I mean, a lot of I feel like a lot of the people, a lot of the people that I met when I first moved here were like designers, but they also would live part-time. They all had an apartment in Tokyo. So they would go to Japan, and I'm like, you just go to Japan? I'm like, oh my God, it's the best. And so I knew a good amount of people who were kind of going back and forth to Japan in that early internet age when people were charging so much money for to build websites and to do things. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that I feel like Giant Robot hit so much of that so perfectly of it was just a culture magazine. It was skateboarding, art, and it was through the eyes of Giant Robot, which is through the eyes of, a lot of writers and artists that were Asian or Asian American or anything, but it was just an expansive view of culture that was happening, anything cool. I feel like that was when you opened that magazine, you're like, well, it's just going to be things that are cool. So, and it has, and it's coming from a perspective. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What's in the magazine? It's cool. Just trust me. You'll feel cooler after.
No, I was just going to say
it was so much of that
was coming
pre social media, pre-internet.
It wasn't even a certain perspective.
Sorry,
I mean, I guess you could say the Asian perspective, but what does that even mean? It doesn't even really mean anything. It was just coming from this lens that was a slightly different take on the same things that all of us were into. It was the music and the skateboarding and kind of DIY. And it just had a little bit of a more specific lens that it was coming out of. But it really was just a massively influential culture, DIY, underground, overground, everything. It's just great. You just looked at it, you're like, yeah, this is just going to be good. It's coming from a good place. There's going to be good bands and good music, good skateboarding. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it felt to me too, especially, growing up in my small town, Walnut, in the 90s, being a teenager in the 90s, I was born in 81. So by 95, I'm 14, you're just trying to figure out what the world is all about. And MTV is sort of you know, its all arbiter of youth culture, you know, had kind of cemented its place and was sort of redesigning itself into TRL and pop, you know, into Britney Spears and post Nirvana sort of world of like, okay, well, this is still cool, but there's cooler stuff out there. MTV isn't the only cool thing. And then Rolling Stone, that's still kind of above ground major label stuff. That's not really all, it's not really, there's not really one monoculture, I think, by that point. And, you know, things like, you know, Beastie Boys and Grand Royale sort of represented this like other form of kind of throwback hip hop, New York, but it was design and fashion and art and music, all with kind of a flair, you know, towards like funky 70s sort of retro things and designs. And then I think Giant Robot coming in sort of seemed to, from my perspective, again, this is one kid's perspective out in the suburbs, you know, but it was like, oh, cool. Wait, but there's this, you know, culture of the Giant Robot was shining a lens on, seemed to extend all of that coolness further into film, into comic books, into toy collecting, you know, this sort of world of like, oh, okay, this is a whole other way of looking at stuff. And then you get like Bathing Ape, then you get like, you know, Cornelius, and then Super Flat, Yoshitomi Nara, and this kind of cute thing that sort of was this fun fantasy retro extended childhood sort of like creative world that had just wasn't present in any other form of culture that I was exposed to in you know, in the Southern California suburban world. And I think the idea of punk or outsider or DIY or all those things, it was like, you know, I talk about this often in the podcast, but I you know, coming of age in mall culture of where, you know, Blink-182 and Green Day are on the top of the charts, and you can buy a studded belt and you know, and Manic Panic, you know, hair dye at the mall. It was like, okay, well, that's someone else's thing. That's not really outsider, you know, at that point. Once it's sold at the mall, it's not really outsider. But then going to thrift stores and finding funky polyester pants and like a 70s, you know, like t-shirt or jacket or something, you're like, this is cool. You know, you get some, you know, whatever, some gas station attendant things, some 7-Eleven things, and some bowling shoes you steal from the bowling alley. Like, okay, this is something different. then you can't buy this at the mall. There's an authenticity to it and a weird, freakish sort of creative streak to it all. And, you know, and then you put in, you know, a couple like films with subtitles.
It's like taste.
All right, now there's
like, I feel like
now I have a personality, and there's some books,
things, you know,
where
you could even
okay, cool,
still cover Green Day and Blink-182, but it could be with taste. And like, instead of, it could be funny or it could be whatever, instead of it being, you know, or punk being this kind of like over homogenized whatever it became. And I feel like, because you're right, even at that point I was thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, there's also the time where like Buffalo Daughter was really big. I love that band. And the Boredoms, and like there were all of these bands that were also coming out that were influencing the greater American culture that was not Asian, you know, they were like taking those, like there were all these like really great Chiba Mato, of course. And the and like
Chiba Mato,
you're getting that influence and then you're seeing it in the music coming out, right? Like you're seeing these kind of like way more, like how many bands, like there weren't that many bands before a lot of the Asian, like the Buffalo Daughter, Chiba Mato, whatever, that are like female fronted pop bands, girl, you know, and then you kind of see a lot of that stuff start bubbling up a little bit more in the US too, that aren't just like heavy punk bands like L7 or something, you know, that are just like, that are going to completely take over the world, whether you like it or not. But you get a lot more of that, like melodic kind of fun, or like, oh, this is cool. This is like cool, melodic, fun music, like techno, like kind of bringing technology and weird sampling. And like, I don't know, there's something about, especially a lot of Japanese bands at that time, they're like, how is this? It's just like cool and weird. There's just like, there was a weird experimental thing in the late 90s and early 2000s with so many specifically Japanese bands that were coming out that I think like that whole time really elevated, you know, US Western, whatever you want to call it, DIY kind of music.
Totally. And it was before, that was kind of hitting on is it was before like the internet, and certainly, was a bigger presence in that kind of cultural signifier way. And then certainly before, social media, and that, where I think we can tap into a lot of eclectic worldwide, sort of phenomenons and tastes and cultures, and this sort of being a curator right. of your feed of like, oh, here's who I follow and here's all the information I'm getting in. Here's what the newest thing happening in Shibuya is, you know what I mean? Where it almost becomes this passe sort of thing. And you're like, okay, well, you're not really discovering anything. This is already happening, but there was something still about the magazine sort of lens of like, oh, cool. It's all here under one, between two covers. And it's like, ooh, okay, this was just cool. And I don't know, there was something about that. I think that there were obviously, they were tastemakers and, I think just found ways to platform artists and musicians and filmmakers and things that, sort of gave it carte blanche entry, into larger, cooler culture, and I think eventually blogs would take this space and social media influencers would take this space and, things would evolve into the world.
Well, and I loved how Martin just talked about it being
were, held like a cachet, held the value of cultural,
like it came from like, well, if we were interested in it, we just went out or we found someone who wanted to write about it, or someone would come to us and it was like, if it was interesting, we just did it. And I think that is such like, it's way harder. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking of it as an older person. Like maybe it's way harder to do now. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I think at that point, like you could have like an interesting lens on the world and create a whole magazine from that lens, and there wasn't so much noise in between that it could actually be, you could be seen and heard, and I think
totally
probably the reason why the magazine, what did he say? It was for 15 years or something. I think he said at one point, but that, or maybe it was longer than that. But that, that just,
what
having a point of view that lasts that long and that you can structure into stories and is just like really shows the love of what he and the other people that were working at the magazine were doing. Yeah. And him even saying like, oh, even when we were at our biggest, it was like 5 of us. And which
Eric was his partner in it,
which Eric just shows how hard they're working, because it's impossible to do a magazine. I've watched people put a magazine together and just like, oh my God, the ads and the design and the layout and sending it to printing and color matching and dealing with photographers and writers and budgets and distribution and editing and getting people to turn things in on time. Oh my God, I can't imagine. And
distribution and
I've
getting
shot
it out
for
on
magazines
time
and shot
having
like
it on
2
deadline.
things and just been stressed out to try to get those things in on time, let alone writing the article, making sure the print run looks good. It's crazy. And so to put that much work into something like that really is like, it's almost like a personal project that it just so happened that hundreds of thousands of people loved their view of the world, and like were interested in hearing the next thing that's coming out. And I mean, there's really nothing better than finding a band and introducing people to a band, or finding an artist and like, oh my God, I just met this person, and giving it to somebody and telling somebody, and then that person ends up taking them on tour or it's like there's this like this, it's great. And just
Yeah. Life changing. Yeah. Especially those early years, those teenage and early 20s years, when you're sort of, tasked with putting a personality together, a style, a vibe, all of your open sponge, and to find something like Giant Robot as a adding to your palette of life experiences and interests and curiosity. It just, felt like a huge breath of fresh air and just a whole, lens on another part, on other parts of culture, not just a monoculture. There's multiple cultures represented that to me just were like, that kind of passport of exploration and freedom, and just like, whoa, all of this stuff can be cool. Like, what does not get pigeonholed into one thing. This was like I love, the diversity of everything they've shown in there, even though sort of through this lens of like the Asian American experience, it was still this, big giant diaspora of tons of cultures, and I think of something like, the popularity of something like K-pop Demon Hunter, in the last, few years. Like, I feel from my perspective, again, I can only speak for myself, but I could trace that back to, to things, seeds that were planted in the Giant Robot sort of culture, and that explosion of like, of course, yeah, this is a Korean pop girl group and it's the biggest movie on the planet. I mean, something would have been unheard of in the 90s, but you see that sort of impact of what the seeds they sown were, and how it does cross over. And that was the world, I think, there was like, well, why aren't these things the most popular things? And then you see them take off in weird ways, and it's just so cool, like Kanye West embracing, all the super flat art in his early works and stuff too, and popularizing that with, the cover art and all the imagery that he did. And I remember being right after college in 2003, I went to the Venice Biennial, and there was a huge, sort of retrospective of a lot of the art coming out of Japan at that time. And it was awesome. And we talked about it in the thing too. They're like, at the Pacific Design radar. Center, off Melrose. There was a big
that
show.
Would have been like Murakami.
Super flat show. Were you in LA for then, or was that on your radar?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. One? None of that. I was
okay.
I was too in my own world, worrying about.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
heavy rock music.
Yeah.
Okay, I probably wasn't even here yet. Let's see. I moved.
Yeah, I guess it was in 2000. It was the year 2000. Yeah, that happened at the Pacific Design Center. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm looking at it. I don't see when it was, but yeah, I said it was in 2000. I just remember, again, it was just all of these things. It's just like, I'm blown away. Okay. I'm taking it all. Again, just that sponge moment for me. I'm 18. I'm 19 years old. And it's like, oh, what is this? And then to see, then you see Kanye West use the art. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, here's another, for better, whatever his impact was at that point, I think you could separate the eras of Kanye West. But at that point, he was, huge. Right. And again, on that kind of pop level, and you just kind of look like, cool. Well, he was in Giant Robot before he was, there, and again, not, and I don't think Martin and Eric take credit for those kinds of things, but again, it's just those like, just the exposure and that kind of like worldwide exposure in an American magazine in that kind of way, coming out of Southern California, and you think like, yeah, it's just Martin and Eric, just again, following their creative passions and their sort of things of what they thought were cool. It's, so much of what we see now through social media and what people are doing kind of on a daily basis. But it kind of, totally. I think from magazines sort of went to blogs and, was sort of around even in that buddy head sort of way, I think was another kind of.
And also just having
cultural,
a
sort of presence.
Having a point of view.
Highlighting their friends' bands and their friends' art.
I just had an interesting conversation with a friend today.
And it was.
We were just talking about artwork and they were saying that.
Right.
That a lot of the art that like collectors or people are asking for or looking for or buying is very like toned down and like beige and grays and like beautiful, but like not colorful and we were just talking about like, do you think that's just a trend happening now? Or do you think that that's kind of almost like a flattening of culture and design, that there's so much out there that people are starting. It's kind of like how most cars are white, gray, and black, right? Like, and when you look at like old Chevy Impalas or old color, it was like the red. I'm going to get a red car. I'm going to get a blue car. I'm going to get a yellow car, and it's going to be orange, and it's going to be. But that it was like there was this kind of like, no, this is mine. This is cool, you know. And now
orange
that we were just having a discussion on what do we think that homogenization is doing. And he was talking about design also, like housing design and stuff, and that everything is like, it's not even that it's minimal necessarily, it's that it's flat. It's that like no, like everything is kind of like beige and gray and white and maybe black, maybe a darker brown, but there's not like a ton of color right now in things, or that people aren't looking for. And we started talking, you know, about everything. Is like, is it a issues with people not wanting to really have a point of view, like that's just stepping out. Like if you have too much of a point of view, you could get clowned. You could get like, oh, what's that? Oh, purple couch guy. Oh, you're purple couch guy. And all of a sudden you're like, you're purple couch guy forever. And you're like, well, I don't want to be purple couch
cringy
guy. I want to be like, I want to sit back.
Too cringe. Yeah. Well, you want to be free to be fluid, I think, in some ways too. I think there's something about that, you know what I mean? I think as much as it is a homogenization or flattening, that also you need a flexibility and a fluidity to not get too pegged into one thing, because everyone is expected
always
to be present, especially younger people, I guess I should say, you know, are expected to be present in these different worlds and different platforms, whether it's through social media or through just personal interaction or professional interaction or school interactions. It's like you really have to kind of, you know, keep it sort of loose and be that blank canvas that can sort of fit in anywhere because of, you know, all kinds of pressures and things, you know, that could come. One thing that brings to mind with what you're saying too, about especially about like the cars, you know, I think it really does point to this, you know, where young people live is really online and through a screen in ways that I think identity is defined and experimented with so much more than in real life.
Skateboard,
you know what I mean? Like when we were kids, it's like you had the car, you put the bumper sticker on the car. It was a platform. It was a stage to show who you were, right? But your stage was your 12 friends in your small town, or, you know, you're going to freak out the one guy, you know, that you didn't like. And by doing this, you know, you could make a statement, but your bubble, you know, social interactions were confined to your locality and your physical location. And I just would have to imagine today, and again, not being a young person today, but seeing, you know, sort of the cultures that are exposed to, that are there and exist, is that, you know, that stage in some ways is out. It's not in the physical reality around you. You know what I mean? It's this other kind of thing. And the car almost represents like a resale value, which I think is also similar in homes. You know, I think just the economic pressures.
No one's going to want to buy a blue
at this
car.
point.
Yeah.
Like you can't afford to do anything weird. You can't paint a blue car. You can't paint your car blue because you can't resell it. You're going to have to, you know, right? I mean, there's a certain amount of thing of like, well, I don't really own it. You know, my parents make a payment on it, you know, and so the bank actually holds the note, and no one really owns anything. And that apartment I have, you know, you're going to furnish it with just shitbox IKEA.
You're just going to move in a year
because you don't really own it, and
so you
the furniture you
might
want to
as
resell,
well, like,
or
who knows what's
going
to fit in the next place.
And I think a lot of that happens. Yeah, sorry. Right. Yeah. Whereas, you know, the post that you consider, you know, in the angle of the frame of the post that you make for social media, or the dance that you do, or the clothes that you have on, and the music choice you make, and who else is in it, and what can you see in the frame of the TikTok video that you post once a week, once a day, once a month, you know, or whatever it is, whatever your frequency is that you interact with, that reads and almost lives in a way that has a bigger impact on you and your social sort of identity, right? In some ways than what you're driving or what, you know what I mean? Because like there's a feeling of lack of ownership or lack of, expression in these other kind of ways. Like it's not really your world. You have this whole other larger creative world with hyper niche, things you can sort of play with. Or you almost to the point where people have avatars and, you know what I mean? This other kind of like cosplaying sort of way of like, oh yeah, but really, I drive a black Nissan Sentra that was handed down from someone else, and I'll probably hand it down to someone else. But this character with these, this unicorn head and this wig I have and my staff and this elaborate thing I've been working on for 6 months to go take to Comic-Con or to, this personality or this, whatever it is, your interests, your hobbies are. It's like you can just over-index in really strong ways that doesn't get spread out amongst your other, because you can't do that at work. You can't do that at school, but you can have a robust, fantasy
all right,
life in other
get
ways.
Out the unicorn head
would be one
Randy.
thought of it all. I don't know. I could be too down one particular rabbit hole.
Funny you would ask.
Culture, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of versions of it.
I took some photos.
I just have a really good character is all I'm trying to say. Worked on it for a really long time. We got a lot of tutorials. Yeah. I have these 18-inch platform.
I've been dressing
boots,
as Gene Simmons
really working
for
on
the
getting,
last 3 years.
getting the scale right and my foam cutters and
Gene Simmons unicorn.
Yes, yeah.
Your brony. I'm sure that there's a group for that.
Yes,
the brony kiss.
It's My Little Pony.
Like
my brony kiss throwback
like
thing
that.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, my Instagram algorithm just got exploded.
Yes, I'm afraid to Google it. I might
it's
go
funny.
down a rabbit hole.
But that's what I was, and it made me think of like, well, this is why it's really hard
but I think
for one thing
it's all up for
to
grabs,
get
right?
through.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like a giant robot or, Buddy Head or whatever those kind of magazines, and then online magazines, and Tokion was another good one from that era. And but even like Thrasher, right? Like Thrasher was like,
yes,
I didn't even buy Thrasher as a kid because I was scared of it. Right. Like it was scary. Like, it's like, oh man, I don't know.
Totally same. Yeah.
Like, and not scared. Like I was scared to look at it, but I was like, these people are like way cooler than me. This is heavy, It's like reading Thrasher. I felt like I was doing something wrong. Right. And I was like, I don't know. It's like, I'm not this kid. I'm like this kid in the suburbs with this like bright colored jams on. And I'm trying to do a ollie and whatever. And I was like, I guess I'm going to go for Skateboarder magazine. This seems a little like that's like my style, when I was like 13 or whatever. Yeah, but it really was like, that's why it was cool. Like you could pick. It's like, hey, you want to be the badass, or you just want to be like kid in the suburbs for a bit? It's kind of like cool. Well, it's kind of fine, whatever. And I'm like, well, I'll be that guy, I guess. But that like, is the same thing with the kids that would come to school and have the Metallica "Metal Up Your Ass" shirt and they'd get kicked out of school or have to turn it around. And you're like, oh man, these kids are so cool. What am I doing with my life? I'm just sitting here wishing I could grow my hair out and put on a Megadeth shirt. This would be the best ever, but I could never do it. I'm not that cool. Turns out, Randy, I could have done it. It would have been fine. I would have bought my Thrasher. I would have done the whole thing. Oh. God damn it. But anyway, no regrets. No regrets.
Life would have gone.
No regrets. But that there was like such
could have been cool. Well, there's still time left. You're still time left. You could still
that kind of point of view stuff has been harnessed into politics and views and likes and algorithms, right? So it's like when you do have a point of view, slowly you get pointed to your view. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's like you go, wait, how do I have the same point of view as all these other I mean, we talked about this years ago, right? Like, I used to listen to Joe Rogan just like everyone else, and like, oh, it's cool, it's like Neil deGrasse Tyson's on here, and then the next time he's talking about Bigfoot, and then the next time he's got like, Bill
Sure.
What's his name, like comedians, he's got these, and some Bill Burr, and then and then like Josh from Queens of the Stone Age would
Bill
be
Burr,
on there.
Yeah. It was kind of broy, but it sort of was like a Maxim
whatever.
magazine style of
Totally.
sort of
And
whatever,
it'd be like,
okay,
this is good. It's kind of funny. This is a lot of good, and then you get the
talk about drugs,
Randall
talk about
Carlson,
hunting,
you get
working
these
out,
weird
and,
crypto geologists kind of
conspiracy
like,
theories. Yeah.
that's not how they built the pyramids. And you're like, this is great. I love this. I used to listen to Art Bell. I loved Art Bell. Art Bell was the best driving home from college. And mundane. Yes. Innocuous, mundane.
Sure.
It totally was like, this is just kind of fun.
Fairly,
and it would get like very broy, and then they talk
innocuous.
about MMA, and I'd be like,
yes,
okay,
right, exactly.
skip this one. And you get, and then all of a sudden, I was like, during COVID, maybe right at the beginning, and then someone goes, I heard he doesn't believe in vaccines. I was like, no, that's not true. And then, a couple of weeks later, you hear a couple things, and then you see a couple guests, and I'm like, wait a sec. And then I go to my other podcast, and I'm like, wait a second. Yeah. And I go to the other podcast, and I'm like, oh, I got broed into this. It took like 5 years. Why are all the dudes that were like, you know what, this is kind of cool. These guys are sensitive. They're talking about their feelings. They're talking about going to therapy, like da-da-da, and like how you can work out. You can do all these things. And I'm like, wait a second. Why is JD Vance on all these podcasts 3 years before? And I'm like, oh, I got purchased. I've been purchased. Get me out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, luckily, I figured it out early.
It's no coincidence.
I think that those point of views now, when they happen online, is that you don't, that your point of view gets logged and it gets put in an algorithm. And then slowly you go, oh, wait, what's my point of view again? Wait, where's all those people? I used to watch this thing. Now I'm getting fed stuff for this thing or whatever. And it really is, there's so much noise in all of it that having a point of view that will push through and be like an artist's point of view or whatever is so difficult. I think that it definitely can be done. And I definitely have like people that I listen to for art criticism and photographers that have podcasts and stuff, but I can't imagine you could ever make a career of it, which is the difference, right? Like you used to be able to like, you could start a ray gun magazine and have a business that has like weird graphic design that's almost unreadable.
Oh,
the legendary David Carson's, or like all of these like crazy photography that you can't even see the band and you don't even know what you're looking at and whatever, but it was such a great, amazing artistic point of view. You're like, this is amazing. Any of those kind of cultural zeitgeist times. And I think now every time someone does something like that, they're like, well, let's see if this fits with our social algorithm. We can't sell ads on this. Get it out of here. And it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. No, there was an oversimplification and a sort of like as communication went more worldwide or this sort of bigger, sort of wider reach of voices that, it just dumbed everything down. It just got super niche in that if you're just into one thing, you just put blinders on and just kind of focus on one thing. But really, you're being siloed. Like you said, the algorithmic sort of like siloing for for purposes of marketing and for advertising dollars, so they could say they have the most effective ad, technology now. So you can pinpoint your audience segment exactly down to, the person, the age, the gender identity, and, and what street they live on. Like that's who you want to advertise to, just those people. And you can sell those things. And it really just, it just, you start to feel like you're in a feedback loop, but you also start to feel like you're now being like, well, I'm lumped in. Like I'm not at this party. I didn't want to go to this party. So then and then but for me, I just felt like just rejection. I was like, I liked being an individual. I liked buying weird records, or I liked making offhand comments, or just having a point of view that was evolving too. And I think especially as a younger person, I think you need to have those kind of things that can be flexible, and you don't want to get canceled for being a dumb kid. Unless there's reasons for some kind of, illegal actions or something. But even again, like as kids, I don't know, it was a different world of things it wasn't like your life was following you everywhere. Every dumb thing you ever said wasn't going to follow you for the rest of your life. Like that was part of growing up. It was making mistakes in public and getting shamed. And then within your small group, again, it all just happened within the locality of dumb stuff. You could do like, okay. Or I don't know, you know what I mean? Or the celebrations, like I'm a big star in my little pond, like that's great too. The positive and negatives were so inconsequential on a global scale, but once everybody had to have, an opinion on Twitter or something, and you're just like, people are playing it too safe, or they're playing it too loose, or it's just now this like all the weights being shifted around.
And I mean, I guess maybe too that
inappropriate, in proportionate kind of way,
because we're old and we're still, I don't know. We still look at things as like physical media, and you're like hearkening back to the days of, like you said, going into Barnes and Noble or whatever local magazine place, and you were like, I just want to look through magazines for like 30 minutes, and you just look through and whatever. And then, but that maybe that now is just quote unquote influencers, but there are people that are starting trends or breaking bands or whatever that we just don't even know about because we're not in the thing. Like there's this, do you follow that kid on Instagram? I think his name is That Kid Zay.
I hope so. I would assume so.
I feel like maybe I've sent him to you before. Anyway, he's just this kid in his room.
Probably not.
And African American fella. And he sits in a chair, just like a computer chair, and plays a song. And is like, my first time listening to The Cure. Dude, it's the best curated list. Like it's like,
I've seen things like this.
So many people.
Okay,
so it got put on my algorithm or whatever, and I'm like, I don't even remember who it was. Joy Division, I think. Maybe it was like my first time listening to Joy Division. And he's sitting there and like, and it's a minute of the song, and then if it, it's like radio transmission, and then he's like getting up and he's dancing like. And you're like, oh, this is good. This is great. This is what it feels like to hear a song for the first time. And he's like, what should I like put in the comments, songs I should listen to, whatever. And it's everything from like Beastie Boys to then it just became like 90s hip hop. He hadn't heard a bunch of like Tribe Called Quest and all the Far Side and all that stuff. But then all the way back, going back to the 60s and 70s, it was like old, like Stooges and MC5 and like, New York Dolls and all the classic, like big classic stuff. And then starts going, well, he starts getting 1,000 more followers, 1,000 more. And then the comment section is all these people going like, oh my God, I heard this for the first time when I was in 9th grade. Da-da-da-da. The comment section has thousands of comments of just people who are talking about the first time they heard all this music. And then, it would get to one band and then it'd be like, oh my God, you got to listen to Drive Like Jehu. And then he'd listen to Drive Like Jehu and he'd be like, this is amazing. What else should I listen to? Oh, you got to listen to Scratch Acid. You got to listen to Birthday Party. And so Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, like Towns Van Zandt, like all of these things. And he puts up a couple every single day. And then he just got like interviewed in GQ magazine or something. But the best part, is him listening to the music and also that this nostalgic group of people just talking about the music and the song and going, oh my God, you got to listen to the drummer was in this other band, and you're in the ultimate nerd fest. And it's like, this kid has consolidated the nerds. Just, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't sing. He doesn't say anything. All he does is listen to a song in his headphones and reacts to it. And it's like Parliament Funkadelic. And it's Red Hot Chili Peppers, like whatever, like stuff that you'd think, oh, everybody's heard that. And then he'd never heard it. And but I feel like somehow culture is going that way, where it's like, it's I don't know if so starved for culture, but like watching someone go through culture is actually becoming culture also. Cause you're watching, there's been times where like you're sitting there watching and he's like freaking out to like B-52s or something. And you're like, I'm not crying. You're crying. This is, because you do remember like all those times you walk into a club and you see some band, you're like, what is this? I don't even know what this is. And you're watching someone freak out, play music, like, and you're just like, I don't know, guys, I'm staying. I'll see you guys in like an hour, whenever this band is over. I'll pay. What's the cover? I'll pay the cover. And or like I remember my friend Bill playing the Drive Like Jehu record for me and searching for that record for a year and just remembering the name, like Drive Like Jehu. I got to find that record, Drive Like Jehu. And then not knowing, like, I could have just like, but you can't, how do you look it up? You don't have the internet. I'm like, I don't know anything about San Diego punk. I don't know anything like, and then I finally got the record CDs or Fugazi or whatever.
You got to go to a record store.
Any of that. Yeah. But I think that there's so much of that out there that is, for better or for worse. Our parents also is like, if I would have been like, no, these guys, there's this thing called Jackass. It's so cool. I'd be like, oh my God, culture is dead. Turned out they were right. But I do have to. Oh, I was going to say one last thing about the Martin Kendall Wong is that I did feel.
Speaking of culture, the death of culture. Sorry, finish your thought.
Halfway through,
transition.
He was like, "Wow, where was I listening to that?" Yeah. It's like, "Oh wait, it was in the halftime show when you and Aaron were talking about," and then he brought something up that we were talking about, and I was like, "He listened to the halftime show? Martin Kendall knows who I am. He knows. He listened to our discussion about whatever we were talking about." I felt so happy. Finally. We made it.
Yeah, man.
I'm like someone has listened. It's not just a number on the screen.
You're famous.
An actual person.
You're famous, man.
Although once my friend John, who
this is it.
He knows of No Age, and he was listening. He is like, oh yeah, Randy from No Age. I'll listen to that. And he was listening. And he had it on, and then he was listening, and he goes, "Wait, is that Aaron?" And he texted me and he's like, "Do you have a podcast with Randy?" I'm like, "What? How'd you know?" And he's like, "It just came up on my thing and I recognize your voice." So there's two people that have listened. Yeah. So good. I felt, yes, please. All of
amazing. Yes. Two people listen to you. Well, if anybody else wants to let Aaron know that they listen to him, they can write us at halftime or hyphenate halftime at gmail.com or find Aaron Farley at Aaron Farley on the Instagrams. Find me at Randy S. Randall on Instagrams. I'm there. So tell me if you hear it. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those surreal things I still don't believe that anybody listens.
Didn't you say someone
I think
recognized your voice once?
It's the only way I
you
can
walked
come on,
into the club?
to these microphones this many
I
years
love
in
that.
and
A
still
sound
just
guy?
talk for you like, so what's happening? What's going on? It's like, yes. That was that night
right.
when,
That's
the sound guy front of house at Zebulon
So funny.
recognized my voice. And then that was right before we played when you came down and took photos for Nervous Action. Yeah. Oh, that freaked me out. I think I could see him getting freaked out by it, but it freaked me out. I'm like, it's like, that's your voice. And I'm like, oh no.
Check 1
My
2.
voice.
Check 1 2.
It's the one thing you don't want to be recognized like I know your voice. Like, oh God, this doesn't sound good. And you guys, oh well, I guess I do talk for 2 hours a week for the last number of years. My wife had a great observation of this when I was saying I was finishing the third year. She's like, if nothing else, you're good at sticking with things. You're good at like just you just keep doing things. I was like, yes, I did. But again, we were also talking and she reverted back to her first opinion of the podcast. She's like, I'm just so glad you have somewhere to talk for hours.
She's like,
a day.
you know what, Randy, you should build this.
And it's not to her. Someone to talk
into
that's not
studio.
her. So
So
just imagine
you
what I
have
was
a
doing
space
before this
that's
podcast.
soundproof.
My poor wife. Listen to me. It's like a microphone. You need to talk about. You want to talk about movies and bands and get nerdy and weird about art and things. Yeah, I'll take 5 minutes of it. I got 5 minutes for that kind of nonsense. Go ahead and give me a wrap up real quick on that, and then okay, no, go ahead and save it for the podcast. I think this sounds like a podcast topic. She will tell me. I'm like, okay, I get it. Which I think was probably one of the best things you could tell men today. It's like, save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
That's a great thing, but just save it. Save it for your next podcast.
Great.
Don't
What do you guys?
don't let that go to waste on me because
listen.
I'm not paying attention to you.
Yeah,
But I'm sure there's somebody out there who wants to.
You have the face for a podcaster. Yeah.
You sound like somebody who has a podcast. Yes, that's it. Face for radio. Speaking of which, our final send off of the 50 years of cinema, our summer series of 1976, going back 50 years. We decided to have a switch up
90,
for the last
right?
one, and look at the film Spirit of 76 that was made in 1990, about the year 1976, and it's a fun depiction of what life was like in 1976, right? You hadn't seen this film before. This is kind of a cult film that was, made in the 90s about, kind of science fiction time travel film, but it featured a lot of rock, members of Devo, Red Cross, the McDonald Brothers are in it, as their kind of bubblegum, personalities of that time.
Awesome.
They were sort of living 1976.
They definitely did not watch any of the movies we watched for
what did you think
life was like in 1976. There's the bubblegum vibe.
Yes, they were depicting like with the
well, because
but it wasn't
the
even
90s.
It wasn't even a meme
point,
or something.
Like
it was just sort of the way
band,
the 90s
like
were
the
doing their sort of
Jellyfish.
throwback of like
Remember that band?
The 70s were so cool, man.
Like that
I
I just remember that band because I saw them open for
Bell Bottoms.
The Black Crows.
Oh right, yes, yeah.
At the but I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, I don't even know, but I just remember them being
but
like
Jellyfish
super
was like
hippie,
Roger Manning
like
and the guys from
the
Moo
whole
Cookbook
thing.
before that.
And just
they
thinking,
went
like,
on to be
this
another
is
cool
like
band.
thing.
Yeah,
This
Jellyfish
is
was a cool band.
Weird and cool.
Yeah.
But that would have been like 92 or something. But I think that 90s, like,
yeah,
right. Yeah, like a lot of
Right.
stripes and
it was kind of
polka dots and
yeah, it was kind of Willy Wonka meets Slade.
it's interesting
Yeah,
watching the
kinda
movies
glam
that
rock.
we watched because all of the 76 movies were dark that we watched. And then you're watching this, which is like the throwback of, the 70s were kind of funny and they were goofy and it was a good time and they were stoners and this was like our parents'
Yes.
generation kind of. And I thought, I mean, It was I was actually surprised. I'm surprised that this isn't that it wasn't a bigger movie. Like it was done well. It was obviously tongue in cheek. It was obviously like kind of B movie budget, but more than a B movie budget, but it was like and it obviously took a lot from like Wayne's World and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and like those themes were in there with all the time travel and the whoa, dude, like that whole thing. But I thought it was a solid film. I wasn't ready to think that it definitely had like I watched it in the car driving, like Lila and I were driving back from San Diego, and we just put the thing, and so most of it I was kind of listening to and then watching, but it like the jokes were pretty good for young, because it was the Coppolas, right? It was like Sophia and Roman both.
Yeah. So Roman wrote it, but
Okay.
it was really written and directed by Lucas Reiner.
Rob
who
Reiner
is
was in
Rob
it.
Reiner's brother, the brother of Rob Reiner, the son of Carl Reiner.
Right. Okay.
So, but Roman Coppola co-wrote the script with Lucas.
She did the costumes.
Reiner.
Okay,
and Rob
that makes
Reiner was in it,
sense.
and Carl Reiner were also
But
in it.
but even Sophia doing the costumes, what was she like?
Sophia did the costumes.
16?
Yeah.
Maybe? She's not that much older than me. I mean, I guess at that point I would have been 15.
14? I don't know. 15?
Oh, so she would have been 20.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Almost. No, not really. When the movie's going, she would have been 18.
She was born in 71. So probably just 20. 20. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a great end to the whole.
Yeah.
To our 1976 saga. Oh my god! All right.
And Visine was the big big thing they had to do to power their thing.
Yeah.
And the gremlin would explode if you tap the back, or the Pinto. It was the gremlin or the Pinto. It was.
But then it was
even if you didn't touch it, if you just got too close to it, it would just explode. I mean, so many of the cliches and stereotypes of what I think of the 70s sort of came from this movie. I remember watching this because I had cool older brothers. My oldest brother Sam had this on VHS, and so I remember watching it with him in the 90s. And like, what is this?
Right.
It just seems so goofy. But it was also the big revival of all things, kind of 60s, 70s,
right.
and that like the Brady Bunch was popular and was kind of hip and cool. And then even got David Cassidy from the Partridge Family starring in it. So it was this sort of 20-year thing, or maybe it was 15 years.
And the same time, and
from 76
Garrett,
to
too.
1990. It was that sort of like, oh man, this was a cool time.
Leif
Sort of
Garrett,
celebrate
who I
it and
saw
make fun
play
of it
with
at
the
same time.
Melvins. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the embrace of all things.
He was known as
right, exactly
like someone who.
So he was cool.
Was
he
like
was
the
sort of
child
seen
star that
as
was
sort of
popular,
cool at the time, and
then
sort of a
went
burnout.
away. And so that's interesting for him to be back. But also, I thought the acting was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like, for being bad, like even the McDonald brothers, like it was so bad and overdone that it became good.
Yeah,
it became
was fun.
perfect for like two brothers that were like housing an alien and trying to figure out this caper. How are we going to do this? Oh my God, man. No.
Yeah. And it's sort of a takeoff too on like La Jetée. Did you ever see that film? The Chris Marker film. It's like a dystopian, dark future, and then he comes back to prevent the apocalypse. But that original film was all done in just still photos with voiceover. It's French, but they remade it. They did the full build out for 12 Monkeys. It was
No, I know the
inspiration
film,
for 12
but I don't
Monkeys.
think I watched.
Did you ever see that film? That with Brad Pitt and
really?
It was the guy that did Time Bandits. What's the
For when we do
Monty Python
Brad Pitt month.
guy. Anyway. Oh, it's great. If you get a chance, yeah, that could be on there. Maybe we could just go into more dystopian.
I feel like I need a carrot
pictures
for
next.
this scene.
The eating on camera month. Yep. Yeah, 12 Monkeys was good. But anyway, it was sort of, it predated that sort of, or it predated 12 Monkeys. It was also very silly. But it's good, it's the same idea of somebody from the dark, distant future when they don't remember the past. They go back with a rough understanding and come back to what would be present day, or and to collect information, like what are future archaeologists, if you could go back in time
everything
to our contemporary time, and
except for the one guy
things, and
there's like the one guy who still knows, and then they have to go back to somehow retrieve the Declaration of Independence. Like there was just so many dumb, like I feel like they definitely wrote it stoned. Or just like no, this is even dumber, and because even Lila kept going, what?
Yes.
Wait. So how is this supposed to change the new society though? Like how's this information gonna change how they live? I'm like, stop asking questions. You don't have to ask questions.
They just wanted to know. It doesn't, but it reminded me of that Nate Bargatze sketch he did on Saturday Night Live, where it was like, if now here we are in the future, if we were to go back in time, like we know so much more, you know what I mean? We know about technology, we have cell phones and satellites and all these things. But if just a regular person, just us, if you're not a scientist or an engineer, and if you just went back in time, like you would tell these people like, oh, we have all this stuff, like, great, how do we make it? You're like, I don't know. I think you need electricity. Well, what's electricity? Well, I don't know. Is the internet? Yeah. What's the internet? Like, I don't know, just guys. I can't really help you. I know all these things. I lived at the time when it was the future, but I don't know how to get you guys to the future. It wouldn't matter if I went back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I thought it was,
well, I thought that was a fun way to sort of send off.
I thought it was an
interesting 1976 with the film from the 90s
all
about
like happy and bubbly, and there were no movies from 1976 that were happy and bubbly at all. It was dark. It was the end of the world as we know it. It was the changing of the guards. Reagan was about to come into
it's true
fashion.
Right,
People were just like not feeling it.
But.
Totally. Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. Huh.
But I think it was really a film made by people who were kids in the 70s, so that's the funny part of it too, as we remember things. So in the 90s, all these young people in the 90s were children growing up in the 70s, and that was probably
right, like the people
closer
that
to what
made
they remember, or
the 70s
the childhood experience
came
of the
up
70s
through the 50s. So they were like post-war,
the adult mature,
like just post-World War II. Like everything's going to get better, and then it doesn't. And so they're just feeling down and out.
Yes.
Like the 60s didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That reflects there how much time changed. Where, if you're in your 20s and you're reflecting back to your childhood, like, oh yeah, it was cool. Remember that? Remember
childlike view.
Remember?
Yeah, it definitely was
things,
like
all
a
this,
kid's eye view of
it's sort of
what,
I think the more
70s was, or
fun
what
way to do it.
Cool was, or even watching the 70s on television must have been like as a kid, as a 10-year-old watching how fun the 70s were. Yeah, wishing you were an adult.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Commercials, bright colors.
Yes.
Yeah. Shopping at Sears.
Although in the dark grungy 90s was also Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
In the dark grungy 90s.
That might have been late 80s, but still is like pushing up to that. Wayne and Garth, Wayne's World, like Empire Records, like all of those were kind of goofy, there's a lot of darkness in the 90s, but when you look at a lot of those movies or even a lot of the music, there's a lot of pop kind of like fun to be had. I think there's a lot of colorful things. I don't know. Yes. Yes.
And there's still pop to be had now. Sort of. We can close off. We both recently saw Spider-Man.
I wasn't expecting anything. I hadn't seen any of the trailers or anything.
Yeah,
I didn't even know a new
that was
Spider-Man
a little
was coming
darker
out.
than I was expecting.
Yes, I do know who Spider-Man is. I saw Spider-Verse. I saw the one where all three.
Had you seen
Spider-Man
the other
were
Tom
in the
Holland
movie,
Spider-Man?
the last one?
Do you know who Spider-Man is?
Yeah.
Do you know Zendaya?
No, not that.
Okay,
Not the
right.
meme. I've seen more than the Spider-Man meme. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. They all point at each other. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, I do think
you're caught up.
I do think that the
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Well, they did the meme in the movie. I
movies
think
are my favorite.
There's a moment there where they all
superhero
he references it in this one because Spider-Man 2 had a great.
Other than the first
organic
Iron Man,
webs.
the first Iron Man was great. But I think
pretty good.
I haven't seen any Thors.
Yeah. That third Thor was good.
No,
I like the third Thor.
Oh man, I don't.
It was
know.
the first
I don't
Taika
understand.
Waititi Thor.
I
The
don't
second
understand
Taika
those.
Waititi Thor,
but
was
also
too,
like
was
the
too
Avengers
much.
ones.
But Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok.
No, because
was
there's
the
too
fun
many
one.
freaking characters.
It doesn't matter.
There,
It's all right.
when it gets into the universe,
I don't think the
I
people
just
that
go,
make them don't understand them anymore either.
just
too.
give me a movie. I don't need a universe. I don't need a whole. It's an hour. You got an hour and a half to explain this thing, so we can get out of here. Although this one was 2.5 hours, 2 hours or something.
Yeah, get on with it. It was long. Yeah, that's why I was almost late for the podcast. I was like, wait a second, I'm not getting out of the movies when I thought the normal time over movies. This is extra time. Going into extra innings. Spoiler alerts for anybody who hasn't seen it. Definitely just turn it off now if you don't want anything spoiled. But
Yes.
there was a moment where we had Spider-Man and the Punisher fighting Hulk and Jean Grey. And there was a moment I was like, that's kind of exciting. I was excited as a kid who read a lot of these comic books.
That's not a normal thing to happen.
And to see it all
I don't
depicted
know
on the
any of the
screen of
I didn't see
Spider-Man
any
and
of the
Punisher fighting
Punishers.
on the same side against Hulk. I was like, that's pretty cool. I like this. I wasn't.
Okay.
He's only done, I think, series. I think he was in the Daredevil series, and then he did his own kind of one-shot thing before this.
Guy.
But he was great.
Sensitive.
What do you think of John
tough
Bernthal
guy,
as the Punisher?
You know, I've met guys like that.
Yeah. Believable. It was one of the more nuanced Frank Castle performances on screen for Dolph Lundgren or Thomas Jane or who was the other guy?
Well,
and
didn't they?
That Punisher character can be problematic.
Didn't they write
his
that?
logo's been adopted.
I heard they wrote
Blue Lives
something
Matter
in
sort of symbol
when they referenced.
I thought
that
they
in
wrote
one
they
of the movies.
walked a tightrope with this one.
Am I wrong? That they referenced people wearing, like a bunch of cops wearing Punisher logos, and that the Punisher was not into it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird to me. I feel like we live in a.
I haven't kept up with this one. Yeah. Shane was asking. I was like, I didn't really watch Daredevil, so I didn't really. I sat out on some of the Daredevil ones.
I think it was fun.
But yeah.
But it was like the first three of the kids were kind of little, and so they were getting into it. And it was during COVID, I think we got. So we're just like, well, I guess we're binge watching another show. And no, I thought Spider-Man's good. I think I have to really. I'm not great at suspending my disbelief. Like every time I'm like, how are these webs holding them up? I mean, honestly, how many webs does he have in that wrist thing? I'm sitting there the whole time going, shut that off, shut it off, shut it off. Just watch the movie.
Yeah, it's true. And well, there's a lot of thwepping to stuff that's way off screen too. Like he's pretty tall up in the whole. Is there a building taller than him? He just thwepped to something higher than the building he's currently on. Is there enough tall buildings?
The mind control. Okay, sure. And just be like, just
go with it.
Just
go with it. Yeah.
Let it.
Yeah, I did want to see another. They do another design of their organic sort of spider web stuff, but I was looking for that Todd McFarlane real like ropey one with like there's the web and then there's the circles around it, the kind of the spirals webbing. I think there was a cool version of that was in the comics, and I was like, ooh, are they gonna go to this? And they don't exactly do that. It's still its own kind of thing. It's a little bit more diffuse. But I thought it was shot beautifully. Like there's a lot, like the blacks were really black, at least in the art theater when we saw it, and the shadows and the lines and the lighting and the composition, and there's just big painted sort of moments. I mean, there's definitely splash pages that they took from the comics. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're cut to the big thing of him flying. He has got the guy under the arm. Like you know what I mean? You could kind of see where the comics just come to life on the screen. The big full page panel or double spreads. And I don't know, it looked great. It was fun. I liked all that fun looking things, but it seemed darker overall. Yeah. I really thought they were just going to kill him off at the end. Like, oh, this is how Tom Holland gets another career. If they just would have killed him at the end. It's kind of a way. It seemed like that's where they were going, and I was like, oh well, I guess that's how to do it. This Tom Holland guy, he put in a lot of time. If he really wants to go do other stuff, he could just walk away here. And then I thought then they would have like guy, the very Miles first Morales guy that like sweep in and go, oh, that was a bummer. Into, now I'm the new Spider-Man. Let's go. I was kind of waiting for that to happen.
That Spider-Man was talking to on the sidewalk, and he was. Yeah, with all the brain dead stuff on. I think he was the voice of Miles Morales. Someone told me.
Oh, right. With all of the brain dead stuff.
Something. I don't know. There's too many like Easter eggs.
Good for them. That was good.
I'm just like, the Easter eggs. Oh my God. There's so much to know. I'm not on Reddit. I don't know any Easter of these things. I mean, I guess Easter I didn't have. I was fun. You know what?
You don't want to do homework?
Honestly,
I'll send you 16 links to YouTube shows. You can stay up all night tonight.
Even when everybody,
that's the one thing you want to do before you go back to school. Is like, researching more Spider-Man Easter eggs.
It was Jean Grey, and they went, "Oh my God!" And I turned to my buddy next to me, who was
Jean Grey.
Like my buddy up. Brett, who's the dad of Townsend's best friend. I kind of knew
Luke. That was coming.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Who's Jean Grey?" I don't know who that is. And then he gave me like the little quick synopsis. I was like, oh.
It's the X-Men thing. Yeah. I know. I had to show pictures of Jean Grey with her green and gold and her, because there was a really great shot of Sadie Sink with like the yellow hoodie and the green jacket over and the hoodie and the kind of the collars out in a way. I was like, they're doing the thing. That's what, those are her colors. That was exciting to see. I mean, the Dark Phoenix sagas, I think it's been done twice now in films, and those other Fox films, that's sort of where the Jean Grey story goes, where she turns bad. She can't really control her powers. She's this troubled sort of like super telekinetic, telepathic mutant that's almost rivals Professor X in powers, but except she can't control them. And so she's always sort of like overly powered and a little unstable, but also like the heart of the X-Men. I mean, I was really excited. I was like, if they really are they're going this far back to plant the seed of what this next run of young X-Men could be, like this could be exciting. And there's something about it where I feel like Kevin Feige, head of all things MCU, because he was a PA on those first Fox, X-Men, that if he plants and lands a substantial X-Men, origin sort of series, that could surpass, and be the next, generation. That could be the next 25 years of these Marvel films. And people would be like, Robert Downey who? Like, what was that? That was from some other time. That if he really does, and the fact they're going this far back and putting her in here, I don't know if every character is going to get as rich of a backstory, as they go, but I was trying to figure out, I was like, who could be the next Professor X? Like, do they go just random, just find somebody? I was like, it'd be that kind of fun thing if you sort of take, it's like you basically need the next Stranger Things cast. You got to find who are the Stranger Things kids now, and then build them into that X-Men sort of thing. So I was like, is there a good
Billy Bob
actor
Thornton.
from like the early aughts or the 90s who could look good with a shaved head?
That'd be the
Someone who's
60s.
in his,
The 60s.
you know, 50s, you know? I don't know. I could
Billy Bob Thornton, but acting as Sling
That'd be a
Blade
way to
still.
go. I feel like he might be too old. Yeah.
French fry
He's
potatoes.
slightly younger than
French
that.
fry
I don't know.
potatoes.
Yep. I like mutant French fried taters. Yep.
Lance
Could be
Bass.
good. Maybe can Haley Joel Osment do it now, or can we get like a repurposed, some other star? Or
All
Hayden
the
Christensen,
kids from boy
Anakin?
bands.
Oh right. Oh, there we go. Justin Timberlake as
Yeah,
Professor
I like
X, put a shaved head in a wheelchair. Yes.
Let's call some people.
Maybe that's it. They're the older grade. Okay. I like where we're going here.
Watermelon sugar.
We could have something. Is anyone with One Direction guys?
Probably.
Can One Direction be old
I'm
enough
sure
to
by
be?
now. They've
Is
been
Harry
around
Styles?
forever.
Can you shave his head?
Yeah.
Is he old enough? Are they in their 50s? One
Justin
Direction yet? I
Timberlake
can't tell.
in the X-Men.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. All right. We fixed it. We fixed the X-Men. This is what you do. Did you ever hear
No.
those Neil Hamburger tapes where he did the phone surveys? Like,
Oh wait, I have heard
like
this before.
pitch shifted voice.
I have heard this.
It was always like Shelley Duvall in. What was it? I'll have to send it to you. Was it the Giver or the Ring? The Ring Bearer.
X-Men.
Would you like
With-
to watch?
Co-starring.
Maybe I can end those with this. I'd be like, would you watch Justin Timberlake in the X-Men?
Co-starring Andy Sandberg.
The pauses just get longer and longer. Like, press 1. You're like, you just have people pressing the button.
Oh my God, Andy Sandberg as Wolverine would be amazing.
Sandberg as
I could see that.
Wolverine. And you could do all the perfect. You could do all of like Saturday Night Live people as like the
Yep.
old class of X-Men. There we go. Everyone just has to shave their head.
We got so many
Perfect.
good ideas.
Will Ferrell can be Beast. Perfect.
Yes.
We nailed it. We got it. Well, write in if you love all of the ideas we talked about here today. And you can write hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com. Find Aaron Farley at Aaron Farley on Instagram. Me, I am at Randy S. Randall on the Instagram.
Starting
and thank you for listening
now.
for 3 years. Here's to 3 more
X-Men starring
next week. And we'll
Randy.
We'll see you next time on the X-Men.
Oh my God.
Andy Dick as Magneto.
Hi, I am a computer hired by Paramount Pictures to promote a new motion picture starring Robert Duvall, Shelley Long, and Bette Midler as the Ringmaster. The film is entitled Hijinks. All ages will be admitted. Those under 18 must attend with a parent or guardian. Critic Gene Shalit said about Hijinks: "This is quite possibly the best film I've seen all week. Thumbs up," say top critics about Hijinks. Bette Midler gives quite possibly the performance of her life as the Ringmaster. Would you be interested in 4 free tickets and a check for $5 to cover taxi, bus, or gasoline costs to attend the world premiere of Hijinks in Pacifica, California, December 1st. Actress Shelley Long will attend. Press 1 now. Thank you. Hijinks is fun for all. People across the nation just think that Bette Midler has turned in the performance of her life as the Ringmaster. Listen to some taped comments from folks who attended a special preview in Los Angeles earlier this week.
It made Harold an hour, and my, they Thanksgiving all that much more special because it was the last one we would spend together.
Hijinks is great fun. Everyone agrees. Critic Jean Shalit said, Bette Midler turns in quite possibly the performance of her life as the ringmaster. After the tone, please leave us your comments concerning this upcoming film.
You've offered free tickets, and I would be very happy to go. I'm a member of the San Francisco Film Society, and my name is Warren. My phone number in San Francisco, 415-753-7. I'd be very happy to go and look at it, and I've always liked Bette Midler.
Thank you for your comments. To receive the tickets, you will need to memorize this code number and send it on a postcard to Post Office Box, Hijinks, San Francisco, California, 94188. Post Office Box, Hijinks, San Francisco, California, 94188. Your code number is 418. Thank you. One question. Would you be interested in seeing the sequel to Hijinks entitled Hijinks 2, Sodom? If yes, press 1. If no, press 2. Thank you. Your opinion will be recorded, although we have begun pre-production on Hijinks 2, Sodom, starring Bette Midler as the ringmaster. Well, it's been nice talking to you. We'll see you at the movies.